Hi everyone, this is my Barbados cherry, also known as a Malpighia emarginata, and I had purchased this online from a company called Brussels Bonsai in Colorado about 2 years ago, and I haven't repotted it. I've pruned it once, but right now we're in the spring and I'm noticing that the soil is very compacted and I'm getting browning on the leaves, which are also losing their color. So at this time I'm going to be repotting it into fresh soil, well draining soil, in hopes that right before spring here in New York that it pushes a bunch of new growth in the spring. First step when repotting any tree is you want to remove the wire from the bottom that's holding the tree in the pot. And I like to give it a little push, try to loosen the tree. And as you'll see as I pull it out here, we do have a little bit of root that was growing around the pot, but not a significant root mass. Also, you see the tree, all the roots are going in one direction. So, just wire out of there. The soil is very dry. I can tell that the water has not been getting to it, and it's really just like a loamy peat moss. So it's very dry. What I'm going to do is mist the roots before we get started. So here I have my new pot that I'm going to be putting this Barbados cherry into. It's a 6-inch pot, about maybe 4 inches in depth. Has nice drainage, and I'm hoping that we can keep the tree in here for at least 3 to 4 years. I have some granite stones I'm going to be placing over the top of the drainage hole, just to ensure that we're going to have nice drainage. I then have some medium to large grain soil mix. This is lava rock, pumice, pine bark, and it'll be a nice base layer. Now you notice I'm filling up a lot of the pot, just because this tree has such a shallow root base and no root ball. We're going to kind of submerge it. We're just going to trim it a little bit here, just to give enough space to push new growth, new roots. Okay. I don't want to take too much off. Now you'll see everything is coming, all roots are coming to one side of the tree. And this one's quite high, but since it's alive and the tree is not in the best shape, I'm going to keep that. There's also another root that's crossing completely under the tree and coming across, which is a flaw, but in considering the state of the tree, I think we're just going to keep everything for now here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is, because there's a gap, I'm going to fill this with soil as a base layer, and then I'm going to come in with the wire and tighten it down. You'll see here I'm using a finer soil. And because the tree's in such a delicate state, you want to make sure not to jam the chopstick in there, breaking the fine roots that we have. And I'm putting most of the soil on this side to try to prop the tree up while I put in more soil on this side. Okay. Now that I have majority of the soil in, roots submerged, I'm going to take the wire, tie this into the pot as best I can, but not too tight. Now, because this pot is round, and at the stage of development of the tree, I'm not too worried about the front and its necessary placement in the pot. It is a little bit on the lower side. But because it's so weak, you know, I really want to make sure I submerge these roots that were partially exposed previously. Alright, so we're just going to tighten it up. And fill it with soil. Now you want to be careful not to damage the tree. Noticing here that I went over a delicate root here. Loosen this. Get that apart. Pull this root on the outside. And tighten it up. This is always the most difficult part for me. When you don't have the right tools, it makes things a little more tedious. Okay, that's one line. Cut it short. The other. Well, this root kind of pulled up, so kind of a little too late to pull it all out. So I'm just going to move it to the side of the tree in which I want it to continue to grow. Okay, so my first attempt at filling the pot and wiring the tree specifically did not work out. The tree was all lopsided one way, leaning this way right directly onto the lip of the pot, which we can't have. So I pulled the tree out, dumped the soil. I'm going to refill it now, and then we'll get it watered. Just going to gently push the soil down. And I ended up only using one set of wires, so I'm going to remove that. And we'll leave that in there to hide until the next repotting. A little bit more soil. Now you'll see I'm really submerging the tree here because I didn't go crazy with the chopstick. This will settle a little bit. Alright, so there we have it. Now, it's not positioned in the pot exactly as I would like, but really the whole point of repotting at this time was to try to get it into free draining soil so we can try to water it. And you can even see here it's browning on the back of the leaves, so I'm actually pretty concerned this tree might not even make it. But spring is right around the corner and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.